Pink dawn poured over the Santa Ynez Valley, turning the rows of vines at Sol del Valle vineyards the color of burnished copper. Mia Delgado, dark curls pulled into a no-nonsense knot, lifted a thief from the newest barrel of Pinot Noir, the wine that was supposed to carry the family banner during the upcoming Harvest Moon Festival. She tipped the sample into a glass and inhaled. Instead of violets, cherry, and the vineyard's telltale whisper of sage, a hot, acrid smell slapped her nose. Absolutely not. Mia tasted, grimaced, spat into the drain. This isn't Brett or cork taint, something's been added. Across the dim barrel room, Sophia, who paired wide-angle optimism with scarves the color of citrus, abandoned her clipboard and hurried over. She sniffed the glass, winced theatrically, then fixed her older sister with earnest brown eyes. We bottle in 2 days, we pour for the judges in 3. Are you sure? Positive. Mia set the thief aside with exaggerated calm. Some chemical I can't pinpoint, but it's foreign to the cellar. The sisters stood in silence, listening to the slow drip of last night's racking and the hum of the cooling system. Outside, pickers were already snipping morning fruit, and the aroma of fermenting syrah floated through the doorway. All of it perfect, except the wine on which their entire festival reputation rested. Sophia squared her shoulders. Sabotage, then? Mia didn't want to say the word, but she nodded. First the compressor mysteriously failed on Monday, and now this. Sophia dragged a hand through her hair. You don't think the Alvarezes? Old habits made Mia scan the shadows, as though decades of feuding neighbors might materialize. 25 years ago, a disputed creekbed boundary and the tragic death of their uncle Diego had severed any possibility of friendship with Cielo Azul, the vineyard over the hill. The bitterness had fermented longer than any wine. I don't want to accuse them, Mia said, but explain another motive. Before Sophia could answer, their grandmother's cane tapped down the stairwell. Isabella Delgado, silver-haired and still regal, leaned on the railing. What's wrong? Abuela, the Pinot's been ruined, Sophia said. All 12 barrels. Isabella's face tightened, yet she remained the composed matriarch who'd survived frost years, recessions, and family quarrels. You'll find the truth, she said. Delgados do not cower. She turned away, but Mia noticed how her hand trembled on the cane. Sophia waited until Isabella was gone, then whispered, Either we fix it or pull out of the festival. We can't pull out, Mia replied. Winning that gold medal guarantees sales. We need to cover the new irrigation. She exhaled. We'll investigate quietly. If word spreads that our cellar's compromised, the sheriff will shut us down, festival or not. Sophia gave a sharp nod. Discreet, rapid, decisive? Like ripping duct tape? Mia allowed herself a wan smile. First, we trace the taint. We need gas chromatography, but the nearest lab is 2 hours away. I'll drive, Sophia offered. And while I'm gone, you can quiz our staff. They split up, unaware how swiftly the mystery would deepen. By late afternoon, Mia had interviewed every intern, cellar rat, and driver. Nothing felt off, although their new assistant winemaker, Mark Benson, had avoided meeting her gaze. Mark arrived from Oregon 2 months earlier with glowing references and a crush on Sophia he barely hid. He swore he hadn't touched the 2019 Pinot, assigned instead to Zinfandel management. Mia logged her notes and walked the perimeter fence. No signs of forced entry, but at the southeast corner she found flattened grass near a gate that hadn't been opened in years, one that led straight onto the ridge trailing down to Cielo Azul. Fresh tire prints crisscrossed the dust. A storm of memories stirred. The last time Delgados had visited their neighbors was the day Uncle Diego took his horse for a twilight ride and never returned. They claimed he'd fallen down a ravine. A Delgado died on Alvarez land, and each clan blamed the other for negligence, perhaps worse. The death certificate said accident. The family grapevine whispered murder. Mia snapped photos of the tire tracks and hurried back toward the cellar as dusk rose purple over the valley. Sophia returned after dark, blowing bangs from her face. Labs running samples overnight. Preliminary sniff by the tech suggests metal something industrial solvent? Before Mia could respond, the power ut. A thud echoed from the barrel room. Generator! Mia barked, grabbing a flashlight. The sisters raced down the stairs. Emergency lights flickered, throwing ghostly arcs across the barrels. The charcoal smell of solvent mingled with oak. Sophia pointed. Door to the reserve room's open. They stepped inside. A single barrel had toppled. Liquid pooled around the staves, dark as ink. Then Mia's beam landed on a hand protruding between two upright barrels. Human. Unmoving. Sophia gasped. Please be unconscious. It wasn't. The man's neck angled unnaturally, eyes wide, staring at nothing. Javier Alvarez, eldest son of their rival family, lay half-submerged in spilled Pinot, crimson staining his chambray shirt like a second vintage. Within an hour, the valley blazed with flashing lights. Sheriff Callahan, who'd coached the sisters in Little League, locked down the cellar, taped the courtyard, and set deputies to interview every worker. I know scheduling nightmare is an understatement, Mia, Callahan said, voice gentle yet firm. But a dead Alvarez on Delgado property no one leaves. Sophia paced, arms wrapped around herself. Sheriff, someone sabotaged our wine before Javier showed up. Doesn't that sound like we're being framed? Could be. Callahan removed his hat. Or the feud turned uglier. I'm keeping possibilities open. Through the tasting room window, Mia spotted Isabella seated at the fireplace, eyes reflecting flame. Once again, a Delgado crop, salvaged or ruined on the same night an Alvarez died. Coincidence felt like a fairy tale. The next morning, Callahan summoned the sisters. Preliminary coroner report, he said. Javier died from blunt force trauma. His skull struck the barrel rim. No defensive wounds. Time of death between 8 and 9 p.m. Mia stiffened. We were in the lab and on the crush pad until the blackout. I'll verify, Callahan replied. What I need now is a list of who knew Javier planned to visit. Neither sister did. In fact, nobody admitted seeing him after late afternoon at Chilo Azul. Callahan continued. The forensics team found trace metal parathion in your tainted barrel-same pesticide outlawed in California 10 years ago. If someone's stockpiling it, that's felony territory. He leveled his gaze. Find motive, find killer. The vineyard remained closed, but festival organizers delayed judging by 48 hours. If the sisters could clear their name and produce an untainted Pinot, there was still hope. While deputies combed the property, Mia and Sophia sequestered themselves in the farm office. Flipcharts covered the walls, suspects, timeline, motive. Suspect 1, Alvarez family revenge, or sabotage to win festival. But why would Javier risk sneaking onto rival property? Suspect 2, Mark Benson nervous, wanted promotion, perhaps bribed. Suspect 3, corporate vultures. Silvercrest Estates had tried to buy Sol del Valle last year. A ruined vintage would lower the price. Sophia tapped a marker on her lip. Suppose Javier discovered something and came to warn us. Mia frowned. Then the killer followed and silenced him. A knock interrupted. Isabella entered, carrying a dusty shoebox. Time you saw these. Inside lay yellowed letters and photographs. Diego Delgado laughing beside a younger woman beneath oak trees. A soft smile, hair like midnight, Alvarez eyes. Diego and Elena Alvarez were in love, Isabella confessed. They planned to marry, merge the vineyards, but their fathers forbade it. The night Diego died, he rode to propose one last time. No feud then, just heartbreak, she swallowed. We old fools invented the feud to cover our guilt. We drove them apart, and Diego died alone. Mia's throat tightened. So the bad blood was built on a lie? Isabella nodded. Javier reached out last week. He wanted the two families to announce reconciliation at the Harvest Moon Festival. Said he had documents proving the boundary line belongs to both estates. I feared dredging history, her voice cracked. And now he's dead here, like Diego. Sophia squeezed her grandmother's hand. We'll finish what Javier started. Mia's mind whirred. Reconciliation threatened someone, maybe Silvercrest, who'd lose the chance to buy either estate, or Mark, who'd joked he preferred Oregon's rain to family soap operas. She remembered the flattened grass by the old gate. If Javier came that way, someone waited. After lunch, Sophia cornered Mark near the bottling line. Mind if we chat? She asked, leading him onto the veranda. Sun speckled the valley. Distant sirens were long gone, replaced by humming bees. Mark wiped sweat from his brow. Rough week. Where were you between 8 and 9 last night? In town. Grabbed tacos at Del Mar. Alone? He hesitated. I called my girlfriend in Portland. Check my phone. Sophia did. Call log confirmed. Yet something else flashed on the screen. A text from a 415 number. Confirmed. Price drops after festival. Bored eager. She raised an eyebrow. Who's 415? Old buddy at a distribution company. Mark pocketed the phone too quickly. Sophia's intuition fluttered. Mia's voice repeated in her head. Motive. Opportunity. Meanwhile, Mia visited Jello Azul. Sheriff's deputies discouraged her, but she needed answers. Elena Alvarez, now Vineyard owner and mother of 3, met her by the fountain. Elena's grief-lined face softened when Mia held out the shoebox of letters. He loved you, Mia said simply. Tears brightened Elena's eyes. I never blamed your family. Grief feeds off blame. We were all fools. She inhaled. Javier believed the feud hurt us both. 2 days ago he told me he had evidence Silvercrest poisoned buyers against both estates to force a sale. He said a friend inside your cellar helped. He planned to meet that friend last night to get proof. Mia's pulse banged. Mark. Elena pressed a flash drive into Mia's hand. Javier copied emails between Mark and Silvercrest. I was to give this to the authorities if he didn't check in. Back at Sol del Valle, the sisters loaded the drive. Emails exploded across the screen. Mark promised to add organophosphate insecticide to the 2019 Pinot barrels, citing easy resale after the winery's bankruptcy. Silvercrest executives responded with bonuses. A final string read, Meet tonight, 8 p.m., by the bridge. A nickname for the old gate between properties. Javier had learned of the plan. He must have confronted Mark, who then killed him in panic. They printed everything and took a thumb drive copy. If Mark sensed exposure, he might delete files. But first they needed to secure the untainted portion of the Pinot. Only the 12 festival barrels held pesticide, the rest of the lot aged in the hillside cave, sealed since last month. If they could assemble a festival submission from safe barrels, they'd salvage the event and honor Javier. Sophia called their cooper to prep new barrels. Mia prepared a blending plan. They worked through evening, adrenaline overriding grief. Morning of the postponed festival judging dawned cloudless. Sheriff Callahan had not yet arrested Mark. Warrants took time. Meanwhile, Mark moved through the crush pad like usual, though tension pinched his shoulders. At noon, Mia secretly messaged Callahan, sharing the drive. The sheriff replied he was en route. The sisters decided to trap Mark publicly. Small-town rumors traveled faster than Wi-Fi. A grand reveal during the festival would clear Delgado name in one stroke. Risky, but Harvest offered no second chances. That night, the harvest moon rose huge and butter yellow above the valley. Though attendance was half its usual, locals needed celebration after the tragedy. Lanterns glowed along the tasting room lawn. The air smelled of rosemary flatbread and fermenting must. On stage, Sophia welcomed guests. Tonight, we dedicate this festival to unity between families, vineyards, and generations. She invited Elena Alvarez, stunning in deep blue, to join her. Gasps and applause mingled. Mia wheeled out a single barrel, steaming slightly from fresh toast. "Our 2019 moonlit Pinot," she announced, drawing curious murmurs. She poured glasses for the 3 judges. Mark stood near the back, jaw tight. Silvercrest executives identifiable by crisp suits amid denim hovered by the bar. Judge number 1 sipped, eyes closing in pleasure. Red cherry, rose petal, silky tannin, impeccable. "Gold medal quality," another declared. Cameras flashed. Mia took the mic. "This wine nearly died because someone contaminated other barrels with methylparathione, threatening lives and legacy." She handed the microphone to Sophia, who continued. "But Javier Alvarez tried to stop that sabotage. He was murdered for his courage." A hush washed over the lawn, wind catching napkins. Sheriff Callahan and 2 deputies emerged from the crowd, positioning themselves discreetly. Mia faced the assembly. "Our assistant winemaker, Mark Benson, acted on behalf of Silvercrest Estates. We have emails, purchase orders, and surveillance proving he poisoned the wine and killed Javier." Mark blanched, stepped backward, but deputies closed. He bolted toward the crush pad. In the scramble, a decorative barrel rolled, tripping him. Callahan cuffed him amid spilled Syrah. All eyes trained on the suits from Silvercrest, who tried to retreat. Deputies intercepted them as accessories. Elena took the microphone. "The feud ends tonight. Our families stand together, partners in vines and in justice." She lifted her glass. "To Javier and Diego, whose love for this valley guides us still." Lantern light flickered over tear-stained faces. Guests raised glasses in solemn salute. The harvest moon shone down unclouded. In the quiet after midnight, Sophia and Mia sat on the stone wall overlooking both vineyards, legs dangling, each holding a final splash of Pinot. Below, flashing lights dwindled. Only cricket song remained. Sophia exhaled. "Festival saved, killer caught, wine safe. How are we still upright?" "Adrenaline and sibling stubbornness." Mia clinked her glass against her sister's. "Thank you for believing in me when I tasted disaster." "And thank you for letting me chase clues in heels," Sophia teased. Mia grew thoughtful. "The land boundary Javier found, what will we do? Honor it?" Sophia answered. "A shared block produced grapes for our grandfathers. Let's revive it as the Reconciliation Reserve. Better yet, co-label with the Alvarezes." Mia smiled at the audacity. "Ablela will faint, then dance." Headlights wound up the drive. Sheriff Callahan stepped out. "Just wanted to tell you, Mark confessed. Silvercrest offered him $500,000 and his pick of properties once they consolidated." Caviar surprised him at the gate. "Self-defense claim won't stick." He removed his hat. "You ladies handled yourselves, and this town, with grace." After he left, the sisters sat until dew formed on the grass. Stars pulsed overhead, vines rustled below, and the freshly filled barrels of 2019 moonlit Pinot rested safe in the cave, awaiting a future unclouded by rivalry. Sophia stood, stretched. "Come on, detective. Sunrise in 4 hours. The Sauvignon Blanc waits for no winemaker." Mia laughed, swinging off the wall. "The mystery's solved, but harvest never sleeps." Side by side, they walked the path home, their steps crunching gravel in gentle harmony. 2 sisters, carrying forward a story of vines, blood, and the enduring alchemy of family.